we're all about the summer. All In is in August, and guess what else is in August? SummerSlam, baby. So I want to talk about SummerSlam moments that altered wrestling history. And there have been so many because SummerSlam has been around for over 35 years at this point. There have been so many moments, and I just want to talk about them. I just want to just have a conversation about our favorite SummerSlam moments, things that come to mind, and I have my own list. But if you guys have any specific moments, feel free to bring them up. But I did want to start off with a SummerSlam moment we're kind of chatting about earlier, and that is it was basically the launch of the Tribal Chief. This is basically Roman Reigns returning after I think he was gone for 5 months, probably due to COVID. This is during the infamous Thunderdome era. Everyone is at home playing Animal Crossing or Pokemon or something, minding their own business. And WWE, man, like if there was a industry that is stable, I think it's wrestling because if there's a pandemic, if there's an apocalypse, I think wrestling's always going to be there. And WWE somehow managed to adapt itself into the COVID pandemic era with their Thunderdome. But anyways, after a months-long hiatus, Roman Reigns returned at SummerSlam in 2020. He wrecked The Fiend, he wrecked Braun Strowman, and he basically started the pathway to the Bloodline era. So at this point, we had Roman Reigns. I mean, I think 2019 for Roman Reigns and the WWE at that point, the big dog, the dog food, all that stuff. There was a lot going where WWE, I felt, needed to look itself in the mirror and ask, what are we doing wrong? And AEW showed up right around that same time. Vince McMahon is now trying to figure out, well, shit, now people are looking at this product, and all these wrestlers in WWE are also trying to figure out, how we can be better. I feel like a lot of this rested on Vince McMahon's shoulders. But anyway, we knew that Roman as a character at this point needed some kind of change, but I don't think anybody predicted the 4 or 5 year run that Roman Reigns basically started at SummerSlam 2020, essentially carrying the entire company on his back for the next 4.5 to 5 years. I mean, what in terms of like the 2020s as a decade, from 2020 to 2026, what do you guys think? Is this one of the most impactful wrestling returns of the 2020s so far? We had Braun Strowman on SmackDown. Is it more impactful than Braun Strowman showing up on SmackDown?
I mean, is that a serious question?
Or not Braun Strowman, I mean Baron Corbin. Sorry, my bad. Baron Corbin. No, not a serious question. It was a joke. It was a gag. But what do you think? Roman Reigns, like, okay, like objectively, let's not put in Baron Corbin in there. Wrestling returns in 2020, and there were a lot of them. We had AJ Lee, we had CM Punk. I mean, there's been a lot, but like, I'm talking like return, like reinvention, and basically defining, wrestling for the next 4 years. Like, is this what do you think in terms of Roman Reigns' impact at SummerSlam 2020 going forward? Where does it rank?
I mean, you can argue forever because I feel like there's going to be infinite amounts of versions of the bloodline at this point. So
we're NWO now, baby. We got
Three.
Wolfpack. We got Wolfpack 2.0. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's up there. It has to be up there. Top three, if not numero uno, because like we're talking like, yeah, like an era from wrestling.
It's a dynasty. It hired like family members and other people. It expanded to other wrestlers in that family, and then it branched off to other sub stories that are still happening right now. We still have a bloodline or My Family Tree, I guess, which is basically just Bloodline 2.0. We still have the existing Bloodline. It's 2026. It's basically been going on since 2020. Like think about let's take a step back. Let's take a breather and think about just that concept, like NWO, DX, all that stuff, and in terms of consistency, because DX like 97, I don't know, 2000, I guess they were there, and then it was still like a break here and there. You want to say like 2002, maybe like he was like fake getting together with Shawn Michaels. Then you all have that thing in 2002, and then not until 2006 you have like return. But it's like it's a different gravity because even NWO and and Four Horsemen, all that kind of stuff, like just the consistency of 2020 until 2026, I feel like there's not a lot to compare because it has not stopped since, like there hasn't been a break from there. Like there's been something happening around the bloodline, someone tied to the bloodline that's just been in WWE's like storyline presence, right? Am I crazy?
I mean, they essentially set something up where you got kids in the pipeline ready to be the bloodline
Yeah, I
forever.
mean, kids in the play. I mean, like Trinity Fatu, The Rock, Cody Rhodes is tied into this shit. Fucking L.A. Knight has been in a Bloodline storyline for like 3 years now. You know what I mean? Like it's just been
Feeding
it is
families.
part of the DNA. Yeah, no, it lit like when Roman Reigns says that, and some people are like, "Oh, why is this a storyline? Oh, I'm feeding fam." Like it literally is feeding like families. Like it's giving people jobs. Like other people who are not related to the Anawai family. You know what I mean?
You're like, you're
So it.
Samoan, right? Hey, jump on in here.
All right, yeah, David, I want to hear your thoughts because I just rambled on. But like, what do you think about like, yeah, the whole sequence of like Roman Reigns 2020 payback wins the title a week later. I mean, all that shit. Like, where as a SummerSlam moment, as yeah, impact in WWE. What do you think?
Think we're getting to a point where it might end up being the most impactful thing to ever happen at a SummerSlam.
Yeah,
I mean, just like take like add to the how long his title reign was, like
right.
some more like even with like bloodline stuff. It's like not only did they even tied loose ends of the past, like
Right, exactly. Like
yeah,
they were trying to reverse engineer some storyline threads to fit their ongoing story, which is
right,
smart because I think people, and again, I'm one of them, I like to be invested in something that you as a product is actively trying to build this lore for me. I want to be invested in a match because I know that you are going to maintain that history that I'm invested in. You're not going to forget about it like Vince McMahon's era where they do this thing, they forget you are forced to forget about it and then they just move on to the next thing and they act like nothing ever happened or someone shows up from New Japan or whatever and Karrion Kross or Finn Balor show up as a different character and you're supposed to pretend that everything that took place outside of WWE never happened. Like that was crazy town. And
right.
I thought that when I was watching it, and I think we are so spoiled now. I know that it can always be better. Like I'm not saying be the same, but I think people are lacking some perspective about how different it is now in their storytelling and wrestling, um, writing and storytelling right now. Like people are taking it for granted.
Right.
So yeah, that's me, old man yelling at clouds. But yeah, so we all knew. So yeah, I mean, like if Roman Reigns hadn't taken that time off in 2020 and he came back earlier or he came back when he was supposed to, do you guys feel like WWE would have ever pulled the trigger on a full heel turn? Or do you think they would keep forcing him to be a babyface? So maybe this is more a question for for David, but and I guess this was because he felt like he didn't want to deal with COVID. But do you feel like if that didn't happen and he still had that baby face, you know, persona, whatever you want to call it. Maybe I'm calling it persona because I'm playing persona. But do you feel like they would have actually pulled the trigger on the heel turn, or what do you think?
I think it wouldn't have worked if he came back anything of the same.
Hmm.
Also, like in Heyman's Van Vliet interview, he talks about like how Vince still wanted to call Roman the big dog.
Oh yeah, I
And
remember
he's
that.
like, no, no, no.
Big
Ooh,
dog.
yeah, another one I want to plug. I mean, I didn't
Oh.
make it, but Stephanie McMahon, CM Punk, what's your story coming out on Monday? That's gonna be a good one. But yeah, I think this reminds me of the interview with Chris Van Fleet and Paul Heyman. Yeah, I mean, like Vince McMahon was still thinking about making him being a big dog. So I feel like
Right.
if that gap of time where he wasn't there didn't happen, I think he still might not be what we currently see as the tribal chief. But yeah, so as we move on to the next SummerSlam moment, I do want to ask before we move on, where would you rank this in terms of character reinventions as the tribal chief in wrestling history? Do you feel like it is like Hollywood Hogan in '96 or Stone Cold '97, or where would you put it?
I mean, I would
In
say it's,
between there.
yeah, it's definitely there. Somewhere in between that.
Because Austin was still a slow cook. Um, Roman was cooking, but it wasn't as slow. But it wasn't instant. Like when Hogan did that, it was instant.
Yes, like that wasn't something like people like, oh yeah, we saw some
He did it by
foreshadowing.
accident.
Yeah, it wasn't like Triple H, you know, what they do a lot, they love to do like foreshadowing or things like when you're talking, when they have a promo and there's something happening in the background. Like,
Right.
I don't think WCW was doing that kind of foreshadowing with Hulk Hogan then. So I think personally that I mean, it has to be up there because like, just for me, like personally, like interacting with a wrestling product, like watching it and what impacts me the most and Roman Reigns and the bloodline is something that is like it's up there. It's undeniable. I can't deny that, you know, Roman Reigns and this whole era of his title reigns, and it's still going on, is impactful. It's got to be. Like, I would be foolish to not put it up there with Stone Cold or Hollywood Hogan. Is it better than them? I don't think so. I think Hogan and Stone Cold, in terms of like cultural zeitgeist, like outside, like mainstream stuff, I still feel like those were still more impactful in terms of like a mainstream appeal.
You could see them with Shaquille O'Neal.
Right, right. Like Roman Reigns, I mean, he's doing his thing. He's in a Street Fighter movie. He shows up at the Tonight Show, that kind of stuff. But I feel like when the audience was forced to watch only specific programming, I think Roman Reigns is more difficult because he's in an era where no one is forced to just watch TV at a specific time slot. When it was wrestling in the 90s, a lot of people had appointment television. Now you're looking at your phone while you're taking a shit. You know what I mean? Like you can see like entertainment at any time, any place. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And then there's certain things that guide you. Right, exactly. There's certain things that guide you that uh, can bring something into a specific zeitgeist. But then the thing is, in this era, is there's a lot of short attention span. So like you can have something that is incredibly tragic or amazing, and then people move on from it 3 days later, and then focus on something else. So like a Roman Reigns bloodline storyline has that up against them versus a Hogan or a Stone Cold Steve Austin. They had more of a captured audience. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's different. It's I feel like it's impactful, but I think there are different factors at play. So let's move on to some other ones. Chris, did you have any? You mentioned some before, but what SummerSlam moments kind of stuck out for you?
Booker T. Rock beating Booker T. 2001.
Yeah, what do you like about it?
Like that WCW. He's the first WWF WCW champion.
I mean, yeah, I mean that's the thing is like this is basically at the point where I feel like Vince McMahon is in his humiliate WCW era. He purchased WCW. He wants to make it known that his
Yeah.
product is the best.
This was Invasion
And
time.
this, yeah, what better way than to give The Rock the title belt and, make Booker T look, I don't want to say look like a fool, but, like WWF, the homegrown guys are better than you. And it was a moment. I mean, I can't deny that. I think, I mean, the invasion storyline for what it was, I think a lot of people had a lot of issues with it because there were contracts that all the top guys that people wanted to see at the time were not there because of contracts that Kevin Nash and Hogan and all of them were like, I'm not going to work. Like, are you kidding me? I could run this shit out and get paid. I'm not going to show up on WWF television if I can just keep getting paid. And then, when it expired, then they showed up in 2002 or whatever it was, and Goldberg and all those people. So there was a lot to live up to, and I think Booker T during the invasion angle was one of the main faces of WCW, and it is what it is. But it was a moment.
Orton
I'll say that.
and Redacted.
And redacted. Yeah. And no, well, no, they were not. That's what. I guess they were out. Were they out? Not outsiders, or were they outsiders? Benoit, Guerrero. What do they call them?
Radicals.
Radicals. Thank you. Yes,
They're
the
already
radicals.
there.
Yeah, they weren't. They weren't
They
part
didn't
of the
deflect.
invasion. Yeah, they're like 2000, right? I think they're 2000.
Yeah, they were there already in, but no, when they did the whole invasion thing, some of them were injured, and then the others were just like,
Perry Saturn.
they're like, we want no parts of
Yeah.
WCW.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, Tribal Chief. We got the Booker T Rock SummerSlam moment. So here's another one that I wanted to bring up. Is and this one I remember. I don't know if you were watching during this time, David, but uh, John Cena getting completely annihilated in SummerSlam 2014. So
Oh, yeah.
now I want people to have some context for this because John Cena during this time is literally like Cena wins LOL. So everything that he did around this time, like he's had some losses, but like the running gag was that he always wins. And yeah, and in this match, Brock Lesnar hits 16 German suplexes on John Cena. Like there was not much of a fight. This was not like oh, I'm getting the upper hand, and then he gets the upper hand, and then he gets the upper hand, and then there's a crescendo. There was none of that. The match started. John Cena got 16 German suplexes. And then this was, I think, for the World Heavyweight Championship. I mean, I don't. Do you want to call it a squash? I guess.
Stop! He's already dead.
Yeah, I mean, I think in 2014, John Cena, Brock Lesnar, you would want to consider it a squash. And
Yamcha his ass.
it was literally like I feel like that was even a conversation. Like the Yamcha crater meme was in the conversation. And I mean, in terms of a booking decision, pretty crazy. Like during that time, because Vince McMahon was very safe. He knew who his superhero was. He knew where his bread was buttered, and that was John Cena and all his different varieties of colored T-shirts. But David, Chris, what do you think? Squashing John Cena in such a definitive way in the 2010s. What do you think that was one of WWE's bravest booking decisions made in the 2010s, or do you feel like, in terms of like for Brock Lesnar anyway, because this is the thing, when Brock Lesnar then wins the title, who else like, and he just squashed basically Superman. Like, does anyone else have a chance in hell to win the title from Brock Lesnar? Like, how do you feel the booking went with that match?
I feel like
Great long
2014.
term.
Yeah, well, maybe it was one of those moments where like Vince was like, "All right, they've been booing this guy for a while. Let's give the fans a little some, like just have a
Yeah.
squash fest, have them get beat the crap out of,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. I want
for
everyone
a
going
change."
home silent.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean they did the Undertaker Brock Lesnar thing. That was a year before that, wasn't it? WrestleMania 30 was 2013, I think. So,
14.
they had the one shocker. Now they're like, all right, well, here you go. Here's another one. We're gonna make this
Yeah.
guy turn into paste.
Fresh off beating the Undertaker, here comes
Yeah,
destroying John
Oh, you
Cena.
want some too?
yeah. So what do you guys? How did you view John Cena then at that point? Do you feel like that made fans respect John Cena more because he was like, yeah, you know what? I'm down. I'm down to get German suplex 16 times and
Destroyed.
basically not put up a fight. Like, did that give you more respect to John Cena, or
Did
do you
for
guys
me.
remember what you thought?
I mean, I remember at that point being pretty sick of John Cena, 2014. Like,
Hmm.
this guy, like Punk left not that long. Or was it before 2014? He left in like 2013, something like that. Or is he still there?
I don't remember if
He
it was
left
23.
February of that
Yeah, I think it
SummerSlam.
was 2014, like January, February.
Yeah, so just a lot of like that weird bitterness that was kind of happening, the backstage politics and all that stuff. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, just knock this guy out. That feels pretty good right now. Like I
Yeah, I
remember
feel like
feeling that.
I feel like I felt a certain way too, and just like I was all about the dirt sheets then, like reading about, oh, CM Punk got fired on his wedding day, and all that stuff. So I definitely wasn't a fan of John Cena during this time for sure. It obviously changed later, and again, it's like if you're not being shoved down people's throats, and again, it's anything. If any, there's too much of anything, people get tired of it, and then you respect him because you know how much he's put into the business. I'm an adult now, it's been a lot. Um, I mean, yeah. What do you guys think? Like, if you were booking that match, do you feel like Cena should have gotten more offense into it? Or do you think it should have been a squash match like that?
It was great. It invented
Perfect.
Suplex City,
Perfection. Michael
Yeah, that's true.
Fassbender. Perfection.
which
That's true.
solidified it.
That's true. All right. Well, I got it. David, did you have any other SummerSlam moments? I do have like three or
TLC
four of
won.
them. TLC one. What year is that? 2001? I don't recall. What did you
Might
like
have
about
been two.
TLC one? What
Super.
feelings come to mind?
Just being super excited, not knowing what the hell was gonna happen.
Crazy shit.
Yeah.
Crazy
The
shit going on.
car crash guaranteed.
Car Crash TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, TLC 1 was really good. And you know what else was right around that same time was Shawn Michaels returning in SummerSlam of 2002. One thing that I feel like a lot of people didn't think was going to happen, and he technically retired in 1998, I think, after WrestleMania 14 when he faced Stone Cold Steve Austin, but he still was showing up in between 1998 and 2002. He was a commissioner. He was a special guest referee. I don't think he was completely off of WWF TV at the time, right?
Right.
Yeah. So he was showing up still on television, but I don't think a lot of people expected Shawn Michaels to actually come back and have this unbelievable second life as a wrestler in 2002. And 4 years basically passed, and a lot of people thought his back injury was career ending. And Shawn Michaels returned for an unsanctioned street fight against Triple H. And a lot of people think it's probably one of the best moments of SummerSlam history and also one of the best wrestling matches in SummerSlam history. I think that is tough to disagree with. So usually one-off nostalgia matches are a bit of a letdown because I mean we've had stuff like Crown Jewel with Brothers of Destruction versus DX. We've had some guys coming out of retirement to do some matches. Some are good or some are okay. Like WrestleMania 25, I think it was like Chris Jericho versus a bunch of WrestleMania legends. I think Mickey Rourke went in there and knocked him out. But like I thought that was a good use of wrestling legends. But you can't always say that when you have guys come back. But in this instance, I think this birthed a legendary second run for Shawn Michaels. But if it was a disaster, how do you feel like we would have looked at the legacy of the Ruthless Aggression era and Shawn Michaels? Like, what if it actually sucked?
Oh, it'd be a disappointment now, wouldn't it?
Still had a great first run.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel it would damper his career a little bit because like he comes back, he has this back injury, then he comes back, and then like he had this amazing '90s run as WWF champion and all the DX. Thankfully, went the complete opposite. Some would argue that it was better than his '90s run, that 2000s, into the early 2010s kind of run. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I would agree. And Triple H, I mean, Triple H lost the match, but not too long after that, he did win the big gold belt right after this. Do you guys feel like Shawn Michaels should have won the world title sooner in his return run, or do you feel like the chase and the non-title feud with Triple H was a great way to reintroduce HBK?
They paced it right.
Yeah, because I mean, I feel like it's not like it was that far off from SummerSlam because I think he won the title at Survivor Series of that
Right,
year, and that was like what 3 months later, if not. I
pretty
think
much.
I think that was like basically the right amount. I mean, he showed up before SummerSlam, didn't he? When did he show up in his NWO gear? Was that after?
Like April or May.
So that was before SummerSlam.
Yep. And then he got thrown through the glass. I
Yeah,
remember watching that. I remember watching the reveal. I remember being
yeah,
furious, dude. Dude,
yeah,
oh my
man.
god, dude. I remember it. I remember when like I put my Triple H action figures away. Like I was like, "Yep, you guys are retired for a little while."
yeah.
I don't want to play with you
Yep.
anymore.
Either that
Double it,
or they'd
Andy.
start getting squashed, dude. Squash matches the rest of his life.
So, what do you guys think? So, Chris, you kind of said, his second run might be a little better than his first. David, what do you think? How would you compare his second run to his first? Do you like the second one better?
My favorite match is on his second run,
Yeah,
and that's Taker. The first
that's what I was.
time.
Yeah, because I was gonna say like it's very hard because like I
Yeah.
feel like the Mr. WrestleMania. I mean, I guess you could say it started in his '90s run, but I feel like that moniker didn't become really solidified until his second run. I mean, you had Kurt Angle, Shawn
Yeah.
Michaels, 21. I mean, okay, say what you want, but Vince, Shawn Michaels in 22 was a wonderful car crash.
Right.
Shawn Michaels Cena was a great main event in 23.
Right.
Then he had Ric Flair versus Shawn Michaels, like literally, like, and then after that,
Michaels,
Undertaker, and then
Jericho.
Undertaker again. So like 6 years. I mean, okay, even like 20, like the triple threat with Redacted and Triple H
Yeah,
for the title,
Jericho
like
in
that.
19.
Yeah, that was a banger. And then Jericho in 19, like that shit was crazy. Like he had like a one, like literally banger after banger after banger. Like none of those were bad matches.
Banger
It's kind of crazy
after
when you think
banger.
about it. Yeah, so I mean, I will say undoubtedly, I think his second run was better, and also like the crazy like Raw intro, like the timing of that Shelton Benjamin super kick off the top
Right.
row, fucking crazy. Or like I'm thinking about like the 40-minute match he had with Cena after WrestleMania. I mean, or Jericho '08, like the whole run there. I mean, endless stuff. Um, so we've been
I
kind
don't
of
know.
going, yeah, we've been kind of going over. So I don't know. Do you guys want to talk about Bulldog and Brett? I know we do a lot of Brett because otherwise I was going to jump into the Summer of Punk 2011.
That sounds like a guy Shawn Michaels beat.
Right.
uh, yeah, I mean, like I could touch on it a little bit. British Bulldog, uh, and 80,000 fans in London defeats Bret Hart in SummerSlam. Um, I mean, a crazy match, a masterclass in storytelling. A lot of people consider it to be one of the greatest SummerSlam main events of all time. I wasn't, I mean, I was alive, but I wasn't like conscious enough to watch it live. But I have watched it in my adulthood, and I will say it is pretty amazing. Um, I mean, as an international show, pretty amazing. I don't have too many thoughts about that. I mean, some people said that there were rumors that Bret Hart basically carried the whole match because Bulldog forgot the spots. I don't know if either of you can tell or if you remember, but you know, do you guys have any thoughts on this match?
My one thought is I have to rewatch it because forgettable. Nah, I mean,
I've never watched it as an intelligent fan.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a dir take.
Yeah, I
But
know
it's a
we're
good
gonna rewatch the
match. Nah.
SummerSlam, but I feel like, and again, I'm sure it's a wonderful match, but I feel like we've done a lot of Bret Hart matches and conversations. We may steer to a different SummerSlam, but I will say, from what I have watched, I think it is a great match. I think it's a great international like pay-per-view in general. I think it's one of their best. And I am very curious why WWE hasn't done like a giant stadium SummerSlam in the UK. Since then, I mean, they've done Clash in the Castle and Money in the Bank and stuff, but I would love to see a Big Four pay per view or WrestleMania or SummerSlam back at Wembley Stadium. So I think there's a lot of that. But we can wind down, and I do want to talk about because CM Punk, one of my favorites, is currently the WWE champion. I do want to talk about the Summer of Punk that started with Money in the Bank 2011 and kind of screeched to a halt in SummerSlam of 2011. Um, so the match itself, I mean, CM Punk beat John Cena. We thought it was going to keep going. He beat John Cena to unify, you know, his title, the real title, whatever you want to call it, you know, his AW, put in a sack, real title. And then Kevin Nash returns. He click, he power bombs CM Punk. Alberto Del Rio comes out, cashes in his money in the bank, and then SummerSlam ends with Alberto Del Rio being the WWE champion. And it was, I felt like it was such a, I don't know. It was such like, there was so much more you could have done after that 20 Money in the Bank. That Money in the Bank 2011 thing felt like it literally, for me in wrestling, it was the equivalent of a political revolution. Like that was how strongly I felt about them putting the title on CM Punk at Money in the Bank in Chicago. Like it was like
Staged a
the Vince
coup.
booking, the Vince booking, everything that has been going
Got
on
rid of
since
the press.
2006
Being John
felt like
Cena.
it felt like we were experiencing a new era, and then we got Alberto Del Rio, and then it just kind of felt like it went a little back into Vince McMahon booking. And I will say that that summer was one of the white hot peaks of that era of wrestling, with that detail of Kevin Nash coming back, Del Rio cashing in. Do you feel like that was a good move? Do you feel like they overbooked themselves and basically cooled down that whole pipe bomb movement?
Oh yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I feel like it killed some momentum. I mean, it killed a lot of momentum. I mean, he put up a brick wall like it's Fortnite or something. Hit that, bam, like. But because then they put the title back on him. But it's just like I feel like once you just like halt that, especially it was like a month later essentially, or whenever it would have been, because Money in the Bank was what,
I think it was
July or June?
July. Yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
July. So it was like a month later.
Yeah, like, what? It's not good. And I never liked Del
David,
Rio anyways.
oh yeah, I think like a lot of people don't. David, did you? I don't. Did you watch that during that period, or were you just like peripherally watching during that time?
I kept up a little bit, and I just started thinking Kevin Nash is back.
Yes, right. I remember. I
Dude,
just
just
remember.
for
I
men.
always remember Punk's like promo with. He said Kevin Nash with the bottle of Just for Men, and then he was saying click clack, and that was the sound of people changing the channel. I do remember that promo specifically.
Yeah,
But
but
I don't
I
know if you
thought it
guys
was
were.
deflating. In the
Yes,
hindsight, it's like because then he would hold it till he went against The Rock,
right.
and think about how much better it would have sounded and looked optic like to the optics of long term storytelling if it was like beats Cena, loses to Rock, quits.
Right. Like I don't know. I had a whole. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
complaining a lot during that
yeah.
time.
Like I remember watching that stuff like back when the WWE network dropped, and then I'm like, damn, like yeah, I'd walk out of that bitch too.
Yeah, I mean, like I would have had if I was booking this. I would have had CM Punk obviously win the title at Money in the Bank, come back. There's the champ versus real champ, whatever. You beat John Cena. No shenanigans, no bullshit of like, like, oh, I had my leg under the rope or whatever the fuck they want to say when John Cena was getting pinned. And then have him hold it until WrestleMania 28. So I don't think John Cena versus The Rock needed the title. I think the once in a lifetime match was probably good enough.
Right.
So they could have just done that match like it's the marquee match, and then have CM Punk. Well, shit. I honestly would have. I just would have inserted him into that match as a triple threat, if I'm being honest. I understand Vince was like, they need the title. They need Punk losing, to The Rock and all that bullshit and stuff. Um, but yeah, I wouldn't have booked it that way. I mean, like, how do you guys feel about Triple H kind of injecting himself into that storyline right after the pay-per-view? Because he was basically best for business, kind of corporate man around this time. And then I think Triple H faced Punk in Night of Champions, and then he beat Punk. I
It
don't
would have made
know.
sense if Triple H just lost.
Yeah. And wasn't there like a story point about like Kevin Nash returning and then he was like texting himself or some stupid bullshit like that? Like I did not understand some of the extra hoops that they jumped through. Um, but like going back to the SummerSlam match, do you feel like Del Rio was the right guy to cash in here?
Oh
Like,
no, Del Rio. Every time I seen him on
mm,
TV, especially
Nah.
when he was in the main event. I'm like, get this motherfucker off my
It
TV.
felt like a wet blanket. Yeah. I mean like him or Jack Swagger. I thought like for Jack Swagger,
Hey,
which I think was also around this time, they gave him the World Heavyweight Championship, which I think it was at
that boy
at
got slapped.
SummerSlam. Yeah, and I guess if you guys aren't watching this on a video, we're referencing his Power Slap or whatever it's called tournament, where they slapped the IQ out of that guy. Like I think he was in a different dimension when he did it. I don't know if he's doing any other power slaps after that one.
I hope if his doctor cares, his doctor's gonna say no, bro.
Did you see the reaction of I guess Rhea Ripley and what's her man's name? Freaking
Buddy Matthews.
yeah,
Buddy
they were in the
Matthews.
crowd and he was just
They
like,
were?
Yeah,
That's funny. Were they friends with Jack Hager?
probably.
That's funny. I gotta rewatch that clip. He turned into Homer Simpson and like oh man. But yeah, I don't think like Del Rio, I feel like yeah, I thought okay, like if you introduce anybody besides John Cena, I thought it was a breath of fresh air, but it didn't work for me. Same thing with Jack Swagger or anybody around that time. It just felt like just the way that Vince McMahon was building up people. No one had the gravity besides like a Daniel Bryan, which they were actively trying to stop from happening, was like main event material. People that actually wanted to see CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, those were the people they wanted to see during that time. This is like the era of like we're watching Ring of Honor, we're watching TNA, we're watching like New Japan. Look at all this shit people are doing, and we're not getting this in WWE. You know, like people would clip a New Japan match, and then they would clip Randy Orton putting someone in a headlock, and that'd be like the meme. You know what I mean? Like that was like this kind of era. So yeah, Del Rio was not the person who I first of all CM Punk shouldn't have lost it in SummerSlam. It was an important moment because at least he beat Cena, but it was a bit of a wet blanket as a SummerSlam moment. But hopefully this SummerSlam, I mean, I gotta say, like if we want to like look a little bit into the future, I know people are complaining about like attendance records and that kind of stuff, but this match card looks pretty good. I gotta say, like it's a good lineup. You got CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes. You got Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. You got Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar in a Hell in a Cell. You got Io Sky versus Liv Morgan. I mean, that's a good lineup of matches. Do you guys feel differently? Like, how do you feel about this upcoming SummerSlam?
it's definitely one of
Looking
the stronger
good.
cards they've had in a while.
Yeah, I mean, I would love for them to like fill out the whole arena. I don't know. I feel like it has to be also just part of like inflation and people just don't have money to go to this shit, and you are charging people an arm and a leg to watch a show, but like you have a great match card. I just wish you made it more affordable for people to go see it. But yeah, I think we're all excited. But that's a wrap for this episode of the Chi-Town Shoot podcast. Yeah, that's our spinoff. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, rate us, and leave your feedback. Tune in next time for more Wrestling Madness. Until then, keep marking out.